Hey, my brothers and sisters, God bless you. Well, of course, I'm sure you're all aware that all hell is breaking loose, whether having this Jerusalem embassy for United States opening, and 41 Palestinians have already been reported killed. I believe it's over 2,000 are injured. Brothers and sisters, we are seeing something unprecedented happening here. And I'm going to be very blunt in this video and just call it what it is. And I hope and pray, I've been telling all of you to not take a side in this. And this is so diabolical. It is disturbing. Look, both sides are infiltrated. Both sides are being controlled by something very dark, brothers and sisters. And, you know, I have done videos in the past talking about the cabal, talking about this mystic Zionist rabbis, these mystic Jewish rabbis that I've been trying to tell you has infiltrated everywhere. This has got everything to do with the Kabbalah. Look, it's been in the White House. It's been in the White House, brothers and sisters. You cannot say that Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton are any different. This is complete witchcraft and warlock. I mean, this is what they are. And they are going to bring in and set up the abomination of desolation. That's what this is all about, brothers and sisters. So, I'm sure you're all aware of what's going on in Jerusalem and Palestine. It's tragic. But the beast has to have blood, all right? It is very hungry. And you can see that they're having their little ceremony right here. Let's see, let me see where I am here. I'm going to show you. I mean, brothers and sisters, this is just such a farce of what we're being shown here. As all of this is happening, I mean, here you go. I mean, right here, brothers and sisters, let me back it up and pause it, okay? Brothers and sisters, do you know what this is, okay? Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump are huge Kabbalists. Donald Trump is in this too. It's just he's not very public about it, brothers and sisters. But these are Kabbalists. His family and him are all part of the Kabbalah, which is the Kabbalah. The Kabbalah. They follow the Kabbalah, which is mystic Jewish beliefs. It's witchcraft, brothers and sisters. And Jared Kushner has even been donating to these mystic rabbis. Now I want to show you something here, very interesting. If you just Google for yourself Jared Kushner mystic rabbi, you will get all of this come up, okay? Some of this is older, brothers and sisters. This is a very interesting article on Muse. It really truly is. But you can go all the way through here. You can see this is totally what's going on here. And even from 2011, the rich and famous flocked to an Ashdod miracle worker rabbi. Okay? And brothers and sisters, these are the people, this cabal is going to be what sets up the abomination of desolation. I mean, everybody's got their eyes on the Vatican, the Pope, and all this. And they're missing what's right in front of their eyes. And the majority of the evangelical Christians have been totally persuaded by witchcraft. And that is exactly what this last election was. And I'm telling you, God is telling us something, because right after the election, which these mystic rabbis of the cabal had everything to do with Donald Trump getting set up and elected, brothers and sisters. And what happened after that election? Well, we had the fires in Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg of the Smoky Mountains. And in Dollywood was the chapter 1 of Joel, the book of Joel. So prophetic. And the first verse of chapter 2 in the book of Joel. Go read it for yourself what it says. Go look up this page that was found, the only page that was not burnt in the Bible, in that fire. And simultaneously, Israel was on fire with wildfires. And then Jerusalem also had fires. And in the Smoky Mountains, they were blaming these kids and saying these kids started this fire. And then people weren't even warned in time to get out, and many lost their lives in Gatlinburg. And then it ends up, these juvenile kids that got blamed, the charges were dropped, brothers and sisters. I mean, the witchcraft that is going on in front of our eyes in everywhere is unbelievable. And if God has given you the eyes to see, you will even see it in everything in advertising. It's been going on for quite some time. But just go research this. You know, I'm just calling it out for what it is, because we're getting too late in the day. We are about to see very soon the abomination of desolation, as spoken by the prophet Daniel, getting set up. Now I truly can see why the attacks on the true believers has increased so much, to get us out of our peace, to get us to defile our hearts with anger, or coming out of our peace, being violated, being agitated, being annoyed, because there is witchcraft going on, brothers and sisters. And the majority of Christians are eating this stuff up with Donald Trump. You can't even tell them. Look, it was in my local news today. Let me show you this. All about the temple coin. Let's see. See if I can find it. Let's see. Well, my computer is very slow, and advertisement popping up when I use this. Like if I just touch something, it'll go into the advertisement that's on the side there when I'm using this program. But I'm trying to show you in the national news that was on here. I just had it. Let's see. It's all in here. And by the way, in Hawaii, brothers and sisters, if any of you are in Hawaii or have family in Hawaii, tell them to get the heck out. Okay? These people are standing right by these eruptions and filming it to put it on YouTube, and they're taking their lives at risk. I mean, if this thing truly blows, it's going to blow these boulders and rocks the size of refrigerators down for almost probably a mile radius. it's really getting serious. And, the whole island is volcanic, brothers and sisters. Okay. Let's see if I can find it. I just had it. It just popped up on here. I was just here. Let's do this. Trump Temple. Let's search that. Because I know it just popped up on here. I was on here and it was the national news talking about Trump Temple. Here we go. It's for today. Well, they just did it the other day, but it just popped up. Let's see. Here we go. So they're putting this all along the international media. Here we go. It's very interesting. It's trying to sell these coins, brothers and sisters. This is why this is in the national news. They want to sell these coins. And people that are buying these coins are supporting this fake agenda that is to set up the abomination of the desolation. And people won't even realize what they're doing. And if you want to talk about the raiser of taxes, which is the forerunner to the appearing, the revealing, let's just say, of the Antichrist. I don't call it that. I call it the second beast, because that's what it is, because it's Satan sitting on his throne. That's what they're doing. They're setting up the throne of Satan. Satan is the second beast. We've had Antichrist types all throughout the Bible. Even in the Old Testament, there's an Antichrist type. And God always used them as the enemy of the nation Israel to correct them. But this is beyond that. This is going to be Satan brought into this dimension to sit on his throne as the abomination of desolation. And they could only do that with what technology and science they have today. But here it is this was May 11th, and it says, just in time for Monday's official move to the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem, there's a Trump temple coin, quote unquote. This commemorative coin is being sold by Israel's Mikdash Educational Center in honor and praise of Israel's 70th Independence Day, with gratitude that the American Embassy will be transferred to Jerusalem. For $50, it's froze up. Oh, Lordy. Hold on. Yeah. This message doesn't want, the enemy does not want this message to get out. That's for sure. All right. For $50, you can get the silver-plated coin for an extra $20. The plating is gold. Okay? The coin features Trump alongside King Cyrus. The ancient Persian ruler is credited with helping Jews return from exile. Oh, look. Here, Mike Hogan. I just purchased one of these from Mikdash Educational Center. Yeah, go ahead. All right. The coin features Trump alongside King Cyrus because they are declaring him king of Jerusalem, brothers and sisters, which is nothing less than an abomination to call a man king. They want a man king. Okay? So basically they're saying that Donald Trump is Cyrus, which I've told you that the very first prophecy in Isaiah about Cyrus is the great shepherd. It's about Jesus Christ. But there was a forerunner type in King Cyrus that was to fulfill for just that small period of time, that he would have the Jews go back and build their temple. Okay? It is blasphemy for us to call anyone today that. And it goes against everything in the gospel to do something like this, brothers and sisters. And Christians are eating this up. Eating this up. and they're yelling out for their beast. I mean, that's what they were doing even today. They were chanting Trump's name over and over and over. Look, they called Obama the Messiah. They did all kinds of things. Put him out on Newsweek and all this stuff, had him thinking, had people even calling him a Messiah, okay? But they never did anything like this, brothers and sisters. No, because, the cabal has to have its war hero, its war leader. This is why they wear their red ties, blue ties. It's to represent war, bloodshed, the law. Blue is the law. And what do you get when you mix red and blue, brothers and sisters? You get purple, and there you have your whole purple agenda. And if you think there's a difference between Democrats and Republicans, you're wrong. Because they're all of those that are in this cabal. You wouldn't believe how many Democrats are in that. And Republicans. Here. Ivanka Trump. Here you go, brothers and sisters. Let me get this up. This is ynetnews.com. Ivanka Trump is in the Kabod house. What's the Kabod? It's the Kabbalah, brothers and sisters. Oh, this, my computer's really acting up. Yeah, this was even before Trump was inaugurated. And they moved into Washington, D.C., right down the street from this Kabod Synagogue. The shul. And then they Joe Lieberman's in this. Secretary of State Jack Lew. Former ambassadors, Israeli dignitaries, brothers and sisters. Rabbi Levi Shemtov. This is a real high-end clique here. It says, it was reported that the Trump Kushners chose to join the shul for its more intimate atmosphere. Another factor to possibly influence their decision was that the capital's Orthodox synagogue is home to many Democratic Party members, which might have created a less welcoming tone for the young couple. Really? Don't think so. No, you're in the cabal, you're in the cabal. Yeah. Now, Donald Trump has all kinds of tentacles into this, brothers and sisters. It's just he had to be presented to sway the evangelicals, the Christians. Because, before Donald Trump, we had 8 years of Obama, and that was just a stumbling block for the Christians to get them to defile their hearts and to have this disdain. But you know what, brothers and sisters, let me tell you something. We get the leaders we deserve, okay, by our ability and willingness to want to truly follow God. In His truth, the way Christ commanded us to in the gospel, and what He says to the 7 churches right now. And this has everything to do with that. It's, God's going to send you a strong delusion if you want to believe a lie. If you want to believe a lie and you have pleasure in unrighteousness, He will let you believe a lie, a delusion. Now, what is pleasure in unrighteousness? Brothers and sisters, it's when we do not obey what Christ commanded us to do. And that is to love one another as He loved us. And to forgive. We don't walk around with this disdain and hate in our hearts, screaming and getting on these political platforms and fighting with people we think is on the opposite side. Because the truth is, you're being guided. When you're in that delusion, you're being guided by the very enemy himself. Because I can tell you something about this enemy. It always plays both sides of all things. Look at the International Monetary Fund, brothers and sisters. Look at the IMF, which was what woke me up to how far along we are in prophecy about 10 years ago. They fund both sides of the war. Okay? And there's that same tactic is applied to even what we're seeing today here at this U.S. Embassy protests with dozens killed. And these protests have been going on. It's because they do both sides underhandedly. So, brothers and sisters, if you think, because the Christians are going to eat up when Jerusalem gets called the capital of Israel, all right, they're going to support that because we're not going to understand why it's happening. We don't understand in the big picture because many don't understand that Babylon, the final days of Babylon, is Jerusalem. And they have to set that all up. Everything has to get moved there. For the abomination of desolation. For Satan to sit on his throne. For the final days. And that's what this is all about. And they know it's going to cause war. It's going to cause all kinds of, it's going to make the Middle East blow up, brothers and sisters. This is some serious times to be awake. Serious times. Go research all of this yourself. We've gone over this coin over and over. If you've missed it and you haven't seen it, go watch my videos on this because this is... Here, I'm going to let Tom Horn speak here, okay? I'm going to play this clip from this other video here of someone else that's talking about this, but I don't always, I think he's missing the bigger picture in his video here. He's missing that what they're actually doing is setting up the abomination of desolation. He's on the right track. He's trying to show people, because he's really kind of downplaying where we really are with this happening, okay? But he's trying to get out the same kind of point I'm getting out. So I'm not digging him or anything. I don't know this person that made this video or anything. But he did play this clip of Tom Horn. Here, I'm going to let Tom Horn speak, and I want you to watch this.
Let's go ahead and go to that video.
This is the great outpouring. I believe it with all of my heart. This book, Final Fire, we're there, folks. We are in the final days. I believe you're going to hear more talk about the great temple being built in Israel. Do you believe that at all? I didn't ask you ahead of time, so maybe.
Well, yeah, certainly, and there's a push for that. And did you notice that one of the very first things when Trump was elected, the rabbis in Israel calling on him and Putin to use their international clout to do what? To rebuild the temple. Don't think this can't happen. I think impetus is on our side right now. I think we're moving towards a moment. And the rabbis over there, some of what the mystical rabbis are saying is very, very curious right now.
Can we find out right now?
Will we just go?
Yeah, I want to know. I know my audience.
So look, there's so many of these articles. We've been running them at Skywatch TV almost every week right now. And so I only brought a couple of them with me. This one, Trump upset victory divinely sent to begin messianic process, say Israeli rabbis, right? And this one, Ancient Secret of Daniel's 70 Weeks, predicts end of days will come this year in 5777, which started in October last month in the Jewish calendar year and will be done by September of the coming year. So, and by the way, that was Rabbi Meir Horowitz 300 years ago, working on Daniel's time and half a time, and he set a date. He set a date 300 years ago. He said, this will all happen. The Messiah will arrive. The end times will begin in the Jewish calendar year 5777. The rabbis have held that dear to them since then. What is that? That's 2016 to 2017. Messiah will arrive. Now, they're looking at Donald Trump. One of the rabbis illustrated how his name in the gematria, the numerology of his name, actually means Messiah. Now, there's some weird stuff here that's going on. So think about this for a moment. In the Jewish Zohar, 700 years ago, in medieval Aramaic, Orthodox Jews speculated about when will the Messiah be on the earth, right? And in the Be'era section of the Zohar, they said he will arrive on earth in the year 57, he will make himself known in the year 5773, which was 2012 to 2013. Oddly enough, Trump goes to Israel in 2012, decides not to run for U.S. president, meets with heads of states, comes out of that, you can watch the YouTube on television, and he starts talking to the Jewish people, telling them to vote for Benjamin Netanyahu and the Likud party, which they did, right? Wow. But what the Zohar said was, he will be identified. From that day and forward, there have been at least a dozen Jewish rabbis that have said, the Messiah is on earth now. He's been identified. He is soon going to make himself known. Well, some key things have to happen for the messianic figure in the Jewish mindset. For the Messiah to arrive, you can't think of him like we think of Messiah. We think of Messiah after the model of Jesus. He's the Son of God, divine birth, all of that. That's not the way the Jews look at the Messiah. They're looking for a king. They're looking for a political leader. As a matter of fact, Messiah to them means the anointed one, and it goes back to the ancient days when they would anoint a king and recognize him as this is the man that God sent. And what they're looking for is several things. First of all, they're looking for somebody in a political figure who can lead decisive battles in defense of Israel. This is why the only politician on the face of the earth that was standing up and saying, if I'm elected president, I'm going to be the biggest friend that Israel's ever had. We're going to undo the Iran deal, well, blah, 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 right? And being a friend of Benjamin Netanyahu. Secondly, they're looking for, when the Messiah comes, there will be an ingathering of Jews from around the world back into the Holy Land. That's why the rabbis, on the eve of his election, went on television and said, we need to call now Jews from around the world, come back to Jerusalem because the Messiah is here, right?
Yes.
There's another thing. Thirdly, they talk about when he arrives, he is going to reinstitute the temple service. So what was the second thing they did? They called on Trump and Putin to use their power to rebuild the temple and to reinstitute the temple service. I'm not saying that they think he is the Messiah. What I actually think is that most of the rabbis there think he's John the Baptist and the Messiah is about to appear. He's the forerunner. He's the guy that's going to start the message in the wilderness, and the Messiah is going to come in on his heels. And so we need the temple service. We need to get back into Israel, the Messiah. Now, why are they saying that? They have identified somebody. I mean, there could be a few rabbis there that think he's the Messiah. The other third key is he has to be of the Davidic dynasty. He has to be of the Davidic bloodline, and there is an effort right now to go back through the European monarchy, cousins of President Donald Trump, to show that his bloodline goes back to the Davidic dynasty. Now, why are these efforts underway? I'm just saying there's something very strange here that's going on, and everything I'm saying can be verified. Multiple news agencies, the Jerusalem Post, Breaking Israel News, they're all talking about this right now.
Wow.
So they too believe that we are in the end times. They too believe that the Messiah is about to appear. We would say the second coming is about to happen, but their Messiah is going to be a false Messiah. He's going to be the Antichrist, right? I also don't believe Donald Trump is the Antichrist. So I think that the smart ones in Israel are looking at him right now. They're saying he is God's, what we would call John the Baptist. He is God's messenger. When he takes over in January, there is a 5777 countdown to the appearance of the Messiah, and something could happen overnight that could lead to the reconstruction of the temple.
Okay, so you see what I'm saying. When it comes to these mystic rabbis, and believe me, they are very powerful. They have their tentacles all over the world, brothers and sisters. And this is this Kabbalah stuff. Now, if you want to know what Jesus was talking about when he said, those Jews that do lie, they're not who they claim to be, but are of the synagogue of Satan. It is these mystic rabbis. All right? You can't lump the Vatican in there because the Vatican doesn't claim to be Jews. Okay? But I'm not saying that they don't have anything to do with the synagogue or the throne of Satan. They do. They're controlling a lot of Jerusalem. And what many don't understand about Jerusalem is it was divided up as an international city. Corpus separatum. Go look it up. Guys, you're going to have to do your homework on this. Because I can't sit here and do all this and show you everything. Because we'd be here all day. And it's something you just need to dig out for yourselves. So you can see what I'm saying. But, of course the Vatican's in this. But when you go look up Corpus Separatum, you will see that at the onslaught of setting up Israel as a nation and returning the Jewish people, which not all are the true Jews. It's got these mystics in here. It's got, all of this in here. And you have your bad figs that Jeremiah prophesied about. And you have your good figs. There is going to be a remnant of the Jewish people that is prophesied are going to be awakened to this deception. And God even says, you've made a covenant with death. But he's going to reverse that. All right? Because they're going to wake up. Brothers and sisters, people want to make you believe that Babylon and all the prophecies of Revelation 17:18 is the papacy and New York City and all these things are Rome. Look, that is not how it goes. Yes, that's all going to be destroyed. It's all going to be taken down because they're going to move everything to Jerusalem, brothers and sisters. And that is what we're seeing today right here at this. That is what's happening. We are being so deceived of what is going on here. We truly are. This is witchcraft, brothers and sisters. Nothing. This is all the spirit of Jezebel. And unfortunately, the spirit of Jezebel is very strong in the church. And Jesus said so it would be. And Jezebel, brothers and sisters, it's a lot about domination. Domination. And if you just go look at who's sitting where, what they're wearing, you will realize what I'm saying here. Well, I guess it's cutting it off. So, let me see here. Here we go. Let me go here. Can't get it to play. It's not playing. No, it's not playing. The live stream ended. So, sorry about that. But, brothers and sisters, we just have no idea the demonics that are operating right in front of our faces. Please go do your homework on this. This is significant. This is such fulfilling of prophecy of the abomination of desolation. The war is ramping up, brothers and sisters. I know it is. It's a spiritual war, and we must be awake. We must be awake of what is happening here. Please go do your homework on this. This is all about the cabal and Jared Kushner's family. Their organizations, their businesses have donated a lot of money to this mystic rabbi in Ashdod, which has little synagogues all over the world. And this was in 2011. This was 7 years ago almost, brothers and sisters. This is nothing new. Nothing new. And if you think that this doesn't have anything to do with Donald Trump, and that Donald Trump is just being snookered, I mean, hello, people. They want to make everybody believe he's this, such a good thing to the body of Christ. But yet he's being manipulated, and he's being, hoodwinked by his own daughter and son-in-law. Come on, guys. No. Now, could Donald Trump repent? Sure he could. I pray he does. I'm sorry, but he signed that budget that gave Planned Parenthood more money than ever. And what was one of his promises that really got the Christians? Because he said he was going to end abortion and reverse Roe versus Wade. And then he turns around and does the same thing Obama does. Do you understand? We're going to get the leadership we deserve. And then you have these false prophets coming out who are, I'm sure, all part of this Kabbalah, coming out, and they were even on the Jim Baker show. Okay, it was even on this show with Jim Baker in the beginning to get Donald Trump, to get the evangelicals and the Christians to vote for Donald Trump. And this guy is still out there doing his little prophecies and calling himself a prophet and saying God is speaking to him. But yet I don't hear anything of the truth of Christ in there at all. And it's all about what Donald Trump is going to do, what he's doing. And I told you yesterday, he was even saying that people that are prophesying of the truth of Christ and his return and the setting up of the abomination of desolation and the true times that we're in and what's really happening are causing Christians to want to kill themselves, to commit suicide. Because they're taking away the hope of peace and safety and prosperity. What an evil thing, brothers and sisters, for someone to sit there and say that. All because they're supporting and propping up this man, our president, Donald Trump. Which that does not line up with prophecy of Scripture of where we are. And we are truly in these days. At the end days. We are so close, brothers and sisters, to the abomination of desolation being revealed. It's totally lining up with Scripture. And what is happening on the earth, and this man is a scoffer, And he's saying, oh, well, there's always been earthquakes, and there always will be, and there's always been volcanoes, and there's always been floods, and there's always been this weather. No, brothers and sisters, this weather and these things that are happening to the earth with our magnetosphere, our magnetic poles, volcanism is unprecedented. And this false prophet that is getting touted, look, I almost bought into this, before the election. I almost thought it lined up with Zechariah, but I didn't understand the 4 carpenters of the end times are also the 4 angels of Revelation with the 4 winds. And the 4 winds and the 4, everything at the 4 angels. And we're getting ready to just go cover into that again with Revelation. We're going to start with the 7 seals. We just talked about the 7 churches. We just talked about the throne with John being taken up. Now, I truly believe that Satan knows everything about how the prophecies have to flow. He's going to have his little fakes. I don't doubt at all that these people, okay, because this doctor and his wife say this man was their patient that's touting all these prophecies and saying he's getting a word from God. All right? And they were on the Jim Bakker show. This guy is all over YouTube. He's all over evangelical radio shows and everything. This false prophet I'm talking about. And I have no doubt that this doctor, his wife, and this whole setting up, this guy was supposedly their patient, and he wrote down that Donald Trump was going to be elected. This was back before, this was around the time that was the very time that Tom Horn is talking about, where Donald Trump went to Jerusalem, Israel, and then supported Netanyahu. Okay? Before he decided he wasn't going to run that term, he'll run the next term. It was right around that time. And this doctor, then all of a sudden, right when Trump did run, this doctor and his wife and this guy who's a fireman, who's supposedly a prophet, getting talked to, spoken to by God, appears on the scene, and all the evangelicals like Jim Bakker and all of that were supporting this and putting him on their show, and they're like, oh yeah, he's going to make America great again and all this other stuff. He's going to bring prosperity and restoration and law and order to America. It's all by design, brothers and sisters. Now, whether Jim Bakker was being snookered, I believe he was. Just as many were. But I do believe many are waking up to what is really, truly happening. Now, do I agree with all of Tom Horn's stuff? No, I don't. A lot of these are just trying to sell books and all that stuff. But, I have to give him credit where credit's due. He does expose a lot of things. He does. But these days, brothers and sisters, you have to test the spirits to know who is who, because the devil is going to tell you 7 truths and then a lie. So, the best liar, which Satan is the father of lies, the father, Jesus said so. He is the father of liars. And what makes him, what did he do in the garden? He will tell, what did he do to Jesus in the wilderness? He quotes scripture. He tells the truth and then changes everything with one lie. And that is why when someone is a good liar, they'll tell the truth and then they'll change one fact, which makes it very hard to know whether or not this person's telling the truth or if this person is a master deceiver. And that's the times we're living in, brothers and sisters. It truly, truly is. So the gate is getting narrower and narrower to walk. And this is why. because these kind of deceptions on the world. So I'm telling you, Jerusalem, keep your eyes on there, because that is already an international city. It was already separated out by the United Nations. I've shown you what they're doing in Jerusalem and what their plans are for Jerusalem. They're going to bring everything there. Science, biotech, technology. Israel is already got everything set up for the mark of the beast, brothers and sisters. Their technology has done it. They are far advanced in everything for technology and science. All the components are there. You've got Hollywood all in this cabal. Okay? Right here. Which has everything to do with why they're going to move Universal Studios. It lines completely up with Revelation 17 and 18, brothers and sisters. It's a religious component that is the daughter of Babylon. It's the spirit of Jezebel. And then you have the commercialism, the trade, everything. Because they're going to move everything as a conglomerate to Jerusalem. Go study it. We're going to recover this. And many want to say that Rome is the beast, and then they'll even claim that Rome is the whore. No, it's two different things. You have to search out the scriptures, brothers and sisters, and you have to let Bible interpret Bible. And the beast system is going to form into that fourth beast of Daniel that has one mind with Satan. And it is a dreadful, terrible beast. And it is, look, they've gone to take the New World Order and make it into the New World Order. And as this technology that's already there keeps being fed to us, and it's being fed very quickly, it's already being implemented. In the meantime, God is tearing up the earth. Have you seen all the cracks and the earthquakes and the volcanism? We're getting late in the day, brothers and sisters, because God's going to just tear it all up, shake it, and it's all going to get pushed over to Jerusalem. And that beast system is that fourth beast of Daniel. It's a war machine. It's the one that enforces the mark of the beast. It is what will kill the two witnesses. The second beast is Satan, sitting on his throne, directing everything. And he will be supernatural. And he will have 10 supernatural kings, which are fallen angels. And what are they doing with all of this technology? You better believe they're cloning. I find it very interesting that I'm just mentioning to you that about the Dollywood fire with that Bible page. And Dollywood, of course, was named after Dolly Parton. But what was the name of the sheep that they cloned, brothers and sisters? It was Dolly. She was the first thing that they put out there a long time ago, showing us that they could clone animals. And now they're making hybrids, chimeras. That's scientific fact. These chips have human brain tissue on these chips. That's all tied to the super D-Wave quantum computer that is a biological computer that is tied to the Ethernet, which is the air, which they can't even tell you how this is all working, because Satan is the prince of the air. We are getting so far along, brothers and sisters. And today, with this U.S. embassy being set up in Jerusalem, is dividing nations. You've got Europe even pulling away, but doing their own thing. Did you see what happened in Germany with the storms? And a big sinkhole opened and swallowed cars? I mean, brothers and sisters, we're getting late in the day. We really are. And you want to know, they talk about in Jeremiah 50 and 51, the destruction of Jerusalem of the final days. It clearly defines it as Babylon. And it talks about the people that are in there. It talks about the Chaldeans. the mingled people. It names all the people that are there in those days. Well, you want to know who the Chaldeans are? These are your scientists, your witchcraft, your warlock, that are doing all this technology and witchcraft. It's got everything to do with this, brothers and sisters. It names all the people. We did like a 3-part study on Jeremiah 50 and 51. It's quite amazing. You know, the Antichrist or the Syrian comes first. Then comes, you know, the Antichrist spirit. Not the Satan, not the second beast. But before that second beast, Satan, which many call the Antichrist, but the book of Revelation does not call it the Antichrist. It calls it what it is, the second beast, which is Satan. It's Satan. But first will come the Assyrian, which is the Antichrist. And there will be more than one of these leaders in the world, on the world scene. They are Antichrists. The spirit of Antichrist has been existing for a long, long time. But many call it the Antichrist. You know, that's fine. I'm not going to argue with that. But you have many Antichrists. The Assyrian, the Antichrist spirit in a man, is totally different than Satan de facto sitting on his throne. Then you could say the Antichrist. So I'm just giving you a heads up. Please do your homework on this. I would love to hear Stephen Ben Danoon address these mystic rabbis. You know, he's all about the Pope and the Vatican and all this, but he doesn't ever address the mystic rabbis. I really, truly wish he would. I don't know if he just hasn't been pointed there. I don't know. But I'm not saying these mystic rabbis are not tied to the Vatican. I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are. I'm sure that the Kabbalah in the Cabal is all over the Vatican. Okay? I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's all tied together because it's like a web, you know, like a spider spinning a web. It's all interconnected. And I have, you know, sent him, whether he's seen it or not, I have sent him a request to say, Stephen, please address these mystic rabbis. I pray he does. I really pray he does, because I know he reaches tens of thousands of people, and many that are even miss their Messiah, that are of the tribe of Judah, do listen to him. And brothers and sisters, please believe me, it is completely scriptural when it says there will be a remnant of Judah, because Christ is coming to return to restore the house of Israel and the house of Judah. They are two sticks that are not joined together, and they will never be joined together until the return of the true Christ, the true Messiah. And in that 1,000-year reign, he joins back the house of Israel and the house of Judah. And it's got everything to do with Christians, brothers and sisters, of those that are grafted in to the vine. You have to be grafted into the vine or you're cut out. And there is a remnant that will join in and believe on Jesus Christ. They will call out on him. They will be awakened. They will realize they've been had. They've been snookered. They've been deceived. They will wake up in time. Those are the ones Jesus was talking about to flee Jerusalem. And I know many Christians will tell you, "Oh, we got to be in Jerusalem." You know, Jerusalem's the last place you want to be unless you're a martyr and you're a Christian. I truly believe that will be the 144,000. I truly do. And those aren't just regular people, brothers and sisters. There's a lot that's been missed in the Word of God about the 144,000 and who they are. But I'll go into that later when we get to that chapter. Well, love to you all. I got to run. I got to answer the phone. I pray this helped you. God bless.